April 14th meeting of the Board of Education will please come to order. We will say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pam, are you going to read the mission statement, please?
Yes. The mission of Foley Public Schools is to bring together students, parents, staff, community to provide a quality education with emphasis on developing the full potential of the individual.
Open forum for citizens to address the school board. No takers, will move forward. Approval of routine business items, which include the consent agenda, board bills, and the approval of meeting minutes. Oh, wait, first we have to do the approval of the agenda. And we do have a tabletop item there. That's a letter of understanding between Independent School District number 51 and the local 284 on behalf of the custodian mechanic. We'll insert that as it'll be number 16, it's tabletop, and then everything will be +1.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, which is the item included.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve the tabletop edition and approval of the regular agenda by Nathan, second by Stephanie. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous. Now approval of routine business items, which include the consent agenda, board bills, and approval of the meeting minutes. Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Nathan,
Second.
second by Wayne. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is unanimous. Okay, we have the resolution for accepting gifts. Number of gifts this time. Donations would be Foley Wrestling Booster Club, 2 wrestling mats. Michael and Lynn's Tennis and Pickleball Shop, 40 pickleball paddles and 1 dozen pickleballs. Wake Park Bay Group Incorporated, $280 for fishing nationals for the lodging. Tom Keating Foundation art display case for FHS. Backwards Bread LLC, Fishing Advisor Lodging, Falcon Basketball Association, scoreboards, St. Cloud Optimist Club, dollars for the 7th and 8th grade Washington, D.C. trip, USA Community Chorus, dollars for choral music, Foley Youth Baseball Association, a varsity scoreboard. We have an anonymous donation to the Unified Club, and Katie and Blake DeMars, 5 books for the ECSE Parent Library. I want to thank everybody for their tremendous Generosity.
Sharon, if I could, I'd like to go through all the main sponsors on the scoreboards and stuff.
Okay, that's fine.
So, the wrestling mats, the businesses that, we have a number of businesses that help kind of support all this stuff in the sponsorship fashion. I want to make sure that they're recognized. So the wrestling mats were Zablocki Roofing, Murphy Chevrolet, JR Masonry and Concrete, and Blow Mold Specialties. The baseball scoreboard was Henry's Embroidery, New Life Church, Curds and Cakes, the insurance shop, Llewellyn Knights, Five Star Auto, and Knife River. And the basketball, or the fieldhouse scoreboards, were Grand Champion Meats, AVX Audio Visual Extremes, Curds and Cakes, Starry Electric, Neighborhood Plumbing and Heating, Falcon Bank, Knife River, and Henry Embroidery.
I want to thank you, all those members of the community. I mean, huge, huge.
Our businesses do so much for our community and the people. We're very lucky.
Nathan, I want to thank you for getting all those together because that was not part of our packet.
No problem. I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
Is that a motion? I think that has to be a resolution. Yeah, resolution. So, resolution by Nathan. Who was the second? Pam. That does not need to be roll call, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. SRO contract starting 7/1/2025 to 6/30/2026. Discussion and action.
This is our annual contract renewal with the city of Foley, and we do appreciate the relationship that we have with the city of Foley, as well as providing this resource to our students and our staff and our community. And we're very lucky that we're able to have a school resource officer as part of our campus. So again, this is a resolution to renew the contract with the city of Foley.
Resolution to renew. Looking for motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Nathan and Wayne. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Again, thank you. We worked hard for that. Okay, a resolution renewing a Tier 1 teacher, Richard Rasmussen, number 9. Okay, non-renewing. Look,
It is a roll call.
okay, it is a roll call vote.
Mr. Rasmussen, he is a Tier 1 teacher, and for statute, we do need to do the non-renewal.
Okay, I'm looking for motion to non-renew.
I'll make a motion to non-renew.
Wayne. Second,
I'll second.
Nathan. Roll call vote. Pam?
This is something we have to do, right? So yes.
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 And I'm a yes. So they were all yes. same resolution, non-renewing probationary teacher, Michaela Pedersen. Again, resolution, roll call.
So yes.
I'll make a motion not to renew contract.
Wayne,
Second.
Stephanie, and Pam again.
I'll make a motion, yes.
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 All yes. Now, this is the resolution. Okay, non-renewal of FES ASL interpreter Sierra Lawrence. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to not renew interpreter.
Wayne,
I'll second that.
Pam. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, revise designated depositories, Minnesota School Liquid Assets Fund Plus Franson Bank and Trust of Foley, Falcon National Bank. The only reason we're doing this is because our SMS person left and now Todd came on. So we're just basically changing the names. And that's just a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Stephanie, Nathan, all those in favor of the revision signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, that was unanimous. Now we're at the FUE READ Act, MOU. I think Trish will walk us through that.
I will. This is a memorandum of understanding between the district and our FUE, Local 51. And we're required to have this MOU in order to spend the funds that are given to us by the state. We worked collaboratively with the union in terms of providing stipends or identifying those stipends to teachers that had completed the FOLA training, the core training. And that training was required.
Do you need a motion to approve it? I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion to approve Pam, Stephanie. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous. So that's done. Number 16 is we're going to our tabletop now.
I don't even have
Oh, where's the calendar? Okay, MOU for FUE 2025-26 calendar.
Sharon, actually go up one more. It's the amended 25-26 calendar.
Oh, amended 2025, thank you. District calendar.
This is just a little minor adjustment. I think we were so happy that we had a calendar in place that we were looking at two different calendars, and we need to make an adjustment for the back-to-school workshop that should be noted as August 25th, not the 26th. So workshop week will be the August 25th through the 27th. And we also just had a typo when the high school holds their MOC, so there are multiple opportunity chances. Should read from 3:20 to 5:20, not 3:30 to 5:50.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve the amended.
Second.
Who was first there?
Yeah.
Okay, Stephanie, Wayne, All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I say that's unanimous. Now we can do the tabletop, right? No, now we get to MOU FUE 2025 to 2026 calendar.
The purpose of this particular MOU in the teachers' collective bargaining agreement, there is a portion about an optional professional development day, and both parties thought it was in the best interest to acknowledge that we won't be having that optional professional day this year. However, that we could continue that in future years.
So it's just for this year.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Nathan? Alyssa? Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous? Now. Time for the tabletop. Birds. This is a letter of understanding between district and school service employees local 284 on behalf of the custodians / mechanics. Trish, you want to?
I sure can. We have, previously we had 3 people that were on a district-sponsored cell plan, and 2 of those people have retired, so it doesn't make sense for us to keep the bill. And so we would like to offer this individual a stipend for their cell phone. It is a need since they are a mechanic, and it tends to, when there's problems with the bus drivers are calling the mechanic first, and especially if there's a problem, he does go out to the bus if it's broken down on the side of the road, so it's important that we maintain that service for him as well as for the district. And his stipend is, if you read the MOU, we have it starting on July 1 of $600, but we prorated that amount to $100 to include May and then June. I'm sorry, did I get someone on
Yeah, I
with a
was
question?
gonna ask
I'm
a
sorry.
So will that totally, we have a Verizon bill, is that the Verizon bill that we had, so we will not have that Verizon bill anymore?
Or their cell phones.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion Wayne,
I'll second it.
second by Pamela. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Now we are going to Site Logic IAQ project discussion action. So, if you have any leftover questions from the work session? Any discussion?
Should we talk through like what the situation is, or that we discussed it up?
You can discuss whatever you want, sir.
I think what has led up to this, to Nathan's point, in a very, just a very concise overview, is that when we went out to bid our project for our indoor air quality, we had 2 bids that came back high, and at this point we are still over budget, and so what the board needs to find consensus about is how to move forward with the project. And during our work session, we talked about 3 different options. One option being that we would rebid the project, the entire project. The second option is we would rebid a portion. So the 2 bids that came in high, which were the controls and the mechanical portion. And then the third option, what we talked about at our work session earlier this evening is to look at the amount that, the gap, and then use board authority to levy that particular amount. So those are the three options that are in front of the board this evening.
Do we not have the fourth option of just doing what we can afford? Like just doing the portion that we can afford?
We
That's-
sure,
okay.
absolutely.
Just because I think looking at the situation, looking at the other things that are going on in the county and in everybody's household, everything's going up. So rebidding, we have the chance of having higher bids. Waiting until we have a time where the money comes off and we don't have to bring it to the taxpayers again of saying, hey, here's more money that we need from you in regards to this project. I think that's huge. I mean, for us to say, yep, the county is already looking at building a project, people are up in their arms about that. I think we've already heard enough in regards to this project. Yes, do I believe that the kids need this? But if there's parts of the building that we can go without doing right now, I think we have to look at what's best for our budget. And if you have the project at home, you can't afford it, you don't do it. So I think that we have to look at what would you do and what would you're not gonna go into debt more than you already are.
I agree with Pam on a lot of that. I don't think it's okay to keep going to your taxpayers every time you're out of budget, although that seems like the easy route. But the frustration with me where this all sits is we have a budget, and just like you do at home. If you don't have the budget to replace your windows, you're not replacing your windows. So you need to work within your means. Is that ideal? No, but I don't think it's fair to keep asking for more money. So I think we need to really look at what we can hold off on. And, we've had the discussions about, yes, things are old, but what can we get by with right now without asking for more money? I mean, we have a set budget and we need to work with it.
I guess I agree with that. I definitely don't want to ding the taxpayers some more. The over amount, from what I heard from Shelby, we should not yet be worried about that. The timing might mean $0. I would suggest that we get maybe Jean or whoever is in charge of that to bring us exactly what we can afford, so we have a very clear understanding of exactly what we're going to be doing and what we won't be doing, and bring it back to the board, and we can look at the sheet that we sent like this. I thought that was very, did you understand it when he said which rooms and stuff? I think it was much easier for us to grasp. And I'm all for going local.
Me too.
I think that's very important. We have always as a district, but I'm not going to pay a lot of overtime to ding the taxpayers just to use local, but local is our preference. And I don't know if the board wants to say if they agree with that. I mean, I think that like all this overtime and stuff, if they can prove to us that that isn't coming from someplace else, we're open to listening to that.
Well, I think it's safe to say that we have some more board work to do on this, that you're not making a decision tonight on this.
Exactly. And I would think, Jean, would you be willing to bring us the information that we're asking for so we have a clear understanding of exactly what we think we're doing, or work with us to come up with a list so that we can go to our public and say, this is what we're doing. And that they, as lay people, just like most of us are, will have a very clear understanding of where their tax dollars are going.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll work with you, whatever you know. I'll work with Trish. I'll see what kind of revisions we can make in the current scope and what we can take out of that scope.
And
Makes
probably,
sense.
if you take something out, why you think that that's the best choice to take out, and if there's something that you think we might be hedging on, don't do this, because we'd really appreciate that. I'd say go to Trish if she needs more meetings, or we need more discussion. Maybe some of it can be done via email, you know, if it's just one question. Otherwise, we're gonna have to sit this out and have a really clear understanding of what's going on. And I think then we can move forward with probably a clearer conscience.
So there is, if I may, just a point with the timing of that for more discussion and reviewing scopes and that. The current bids that are in, the contractors have a timeline where they are holding those, and then they will become void essentially, and you'll need to rebid. So the timing of that's important. So depending on what scope you review and change from that, you may be looking at a rebid with that path, then a full rebid.
Do we know when that date is? Like, what day do we have until?
We can work with them to find out. We can't tell you an exact date right now,
Okay.
but I think we're near it now.
Is it on their contracts that?
There will be a specific amount of time their bids hold, and then it'll be up to them if they want to continue to hold longer. But depending on the changes that are made, again, and the budget amount, it'll take some time to work through.
I understand, like, looking for more details and stuff, but I think they did a very good job in the work session tonight, kind of explaining what we're at, right? We have a phasing sequence in general that we kind of talked through. The original bid came in over budget to get done this year, this summer. So they went back out and they started talking to the bidding parties, and they made concessions on the timeline to work the numbers down. And then they went through and they worked on a scenario in which we leave a portion of it out. So it'd be like the practice, the band area, and the corridors, that corridor. All of which is currently under, has a DX unit. So it's currently dehumidified to a certain degree already, and is probably in the best shape of what we have. It's a place for us to leave off. I think with that savings, pushing it out, leaving off that pool penthouse portion of it, which was kind of about $300,000 from the scope, rough numbers. We had $275,000 in interest that we'll gain over the course of the next year. That puts it at $575,000 in real money, plus our contingency. We're right at basically where the budget is. Of course, everything has to work out perfectly in that scenario. I think that's a path forward that we can make confidently, and then still allow us to hit timelines, let the work begin, so that we're not pushing it back, looking at rebids. There's so much uncertainty right now in the world with tariffs, with all that kind of stuff. The only thing we'd be hoping for next year, probably cheaper, is really a bad recession. I don't think anybody wants to hope for that. So realistically, that's kind of what I think. I think more information is just kind of paralysis a little bit just in information. Ideally, there's a path forward here that I see that comes close to what we're doing. We can figure out next year if we have what the contingencies look like in the first half of the year. We can figure out what money we've outlaid so far, how stuff's coming back. All that type of stuff can play into the decision about the pool penthouse when we get to that point. But at least then we're not just pushing it down the line, which kind of got us in this situation. That makes sense.
Well, I don't want to kick the can down the road either. Because we all know wages are not going to go down, material is not going to go down. I don't know if rebid is the answer. I mean, I would like to start, but this is your guys' wheelhouse. I would like for you to come to us with a, if this does get outside of what Dr. Nathan is saying, what can we do? So I would like to start, but let's have a path. If it don't go the right way, this is what we got.
Yeah.
Recommendations from you on what we can, where we can start, where we can finish, what we might have to postpone.
I think,
Maybe we won't need to, maybe we can complete it.
So that's part of our job, as your professional service provider in this is the contingency plan for those scenarios. So based on the direction and the path you choose, if we began working with the contractors, you contracted with them, we would begin contingency planning for that scenario. So I mentioned there's a number of things we could look at, material substitutions. The last resort is not taking care of the work that's needed, but we will certainly work with them to find every available opportunity and bring forward to you. They're also, when the contractor is secured and has a contract, they're more willing to invest time in that process as well to work with you. So.
Well, we gotta,
So I do think we need to make a decision. We have to make some sort of a decision.
yeah,
If it means that we say, you're gonna look for some budget cuts, like in your side, and we're gonna do only what we can afford, but we're gonna start the project.
we have to.
Yeah, I don't believe that we shouldn't start the project. I'm just saying we need to look and work within our means. So,
I would say option 4, which isn't.
Yeah, the decision can't be that way.
Well, that was the one
Well,
that Pamela had,
Yep.
due portion we can't afford.
So theoretically, it's leaving, at this point, we leave pool penthouse C out of scope for now.
do you make a motion for that?
Huh?
Do you make a motion for that?
Sure, okay. Let's try this out. All right, so
If
I'll
I
make a
can
motion.
mention, before we start, I think penthouse C and pool penthouse are two different things. Just make
Yeah,
sure
they
that
are.
your wording
Yes.
is
So are you talking about not doing the
Alternate.
music, the locker rooms, like that? that
Just
room?
just as a point, we should probably be speaking to the motion in terms of what the deduct is on the bid.
Yes, I believe it's bid alternate
It
3.
is, I just don't remember which one.
Alternate number 3 is,
Yeah, so the penthouse C, to your point, Joel, would include the pool D, DMV unit, or whatever. that
so
you-
alternate 3 is for the locker room area and the band area.
But the needed
In,
components.
physically mounted in the pool penthouse.
Yep.
Right.
But the needed piece that we need for the pool
Is in,
itself is actually in scope for this summer. That's on penthouse C,
yes,
that whatever that unit was, the
Yes.
DMT or whatever,
PDU.
PDU. That's what I was going for.
So it was, what won't be done, the band and the
Locker rooms.
So you're looking at alternate 3,
3,
which includes the
band
band
and the locker.
and the locker room
In that practice area. So
and the
basically,
hallway.
the last, from the auditorium to the elementary school.
There's 2 air handlers, air handling unit 8, air handling unit 15, and an ERV, which is an energy recovery unit, for 15 that serves the locker rooms.
Gene, is that all on the alternate though?
Yes,
Okay, so if we just kept it with 3,
Alternate.
alternate 3.
correct?
Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, okay. So since it's,
How much faith do you have in, if we commit to them? I get it, because now they got skin in the game, right? That they're willing to work with us.
Well, they've been working with us so far. I asked for some value engineering and some cost deductions based on that schedule, and they all worked with us. I've also reached out to the other contractors as well, and they're willing to work with us as well, the other ones that are in bid. by adjusting the schedule and stuff, so I'm working with them as well.
They're good contractors. The fact that they didn't have to go back and look at the schedule and do that, it indicates they really want the work and they're hungry for it. And your contract between them, you know, if you want to de-scope something there necessarily, they have to work with us in that, when it's reasonable, so.
Nathan?
Figure out how to do this.
Yeah, so as of, with alternate 3 out, and the interest that we're expecting to earn this summer, we're basically right at budget, including our contingency. Right? As long as nothing goes wrong.
So is the motion to start the project with the removal of alternate 3?
Yep. So I'll make a motion that we move forward with the IAQ project with the removal or IAQ project alternate 3, which is deducting air handling unit 8, air handling unit 15, and the ERV1. And then we'll be following the phasing schedule that was laid out, phase 1 and phase 2, for finishing in 2026.
Okay, I have a motion by Nathan, second by Wayne, to move forward with the IAQ project, removing alternate 3, and to follow the phasing schedule. It's the one here or the one in the, it's the same as the,
It's the same, this one just has more detail.
this more detailed one? Gene?
I'm sorry, I was looking at
The motion, does this cover everything that, as you understand, we want that? Motion to move forward with the IAQ project to remove alternate 3 and follow the phasing schedule on this sheet that was passed out to the board.
Yeah. The way we'll do it is, my suggestion would be, motion would be to accept base bids, all base bids with accepting alternate 3. Alternate 3 is a deduct from the contract. That's my suggestion. And then once we have contracts, we will have a change order for the amounts of the new schedule. So the new schedule will be part of the change order.
Will we be
So-
able to,
What's the change order
So,
going to cost?
so we have a motion and we have a second, and so we probably need to amend to the motion.
yeah, we'll figure that out in a second here. So the question I would have is, so if we're doing it as a base bid and an alternative 3, then theoretically at the end of this summer, if everything is going well and we decide to, we can increase the scope again inside that same base bid, right?
Likely?
Like adding alternate 3 back in as an example.
Theoretically, if things look good at this time of
Yes,
year or whatever.
the contractor will certainly provide a number for that at that time. It'll be different than the 313 you see here now, like I can guarantee you that, but they will certainly provide a number and be happy to do the work at the time. And you can get a quote and you can decide at that point.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So are you going to amend your motion now?
Yes. So I'm going to amend the motion to say that I would make a motion to accept the base bid, considering the alternate 3 deductions of air handling unit 8, air handling unit 15, and the ERV 1.
Then
Is he
you,
gonna second?
and you're still seconding it.
Yes.
Any more discussion?
And then you will get Trish all the legal documents and sooner than later, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. I'll get a letter of recommendation, official, for that, and then I'll be reaching out to the contractors for a notice to proceed.
Okay.
The contracts will follow shortly after that.
Absolutely.
Trish will keep us informed. Board, I'm calling for a vote now. All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye. Aye. I think that's unanimous, and we are on our way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Policies requiring review. This is first reading. 203.1, School Board Procedures, Rules of Order. 203.5, School Board Meeting Agenda. 203.6, Consent Agendas. 213, School Board Committees. 533, Wellness. So, the order. Budget enrollment report. Todd, are you there?
I am.
Thank you. What do you have to tell us?
All right, I could use some help maybe with the enrollment report. I've been just seeing this for the first time. I apologize. I'm working this into my normal routine of speaking to enrollment each month. Trish, any significant changes in enrollment in April?
No, our enrollment is, we've lost a few students, but it's holding steady at this point.
Awesome.
And board, you did receive an enrollment recap from Kelly. So, to me, it doesn't look like there's any huge changes, and at this time of the year, I just would expect a few ins and outs.
Okay, moving on to the budget update for activity posted through March 31. Revenues are on track. We are at 58.3% of our revenues collected through March. This is comparable to 62.7% of where we ended up last year. The reason why we're down about 4% compared to last year we recognized $792,294 in tax revenue. We have an accounting change this year. We're recording those revenues against the receivables, so you're not seeing those show up as revenues at this point. What will happen is during the audit, we will go through and recognize those property tax revenues in Fund 1, 4, and 7. So the other revenues, state aid, federal grants, and local revenues are on track with prior years. Federal grants are down a bit this year at $154,000. So I will work on getting a Title I, Title II draw done, as well as any draws that we need to make with our education district, Benton Stearns Education District. So otherwise, state aids and local are right on track with prior years. So any questions on revenues? On the expenditure side, salary is the biggest part of our budget. We're kind of right in between where we were at last year and the year before. We're at 61.8% of our budget spent. Last year we were at 59.5%, and the year before we were at 62%. I believe our settlement was paid after March with the teachers last year, so I believe that's why last year was at 59.5%. So I'm thinking we are more comparable with 2 years ago, in which case we are right on track and should come in on budget on salaries. Benefits, we're tracking a little higher, but a big number in there is unemployment, and a good percent of that budget's been expended, so I'm hopeful we will still come in on budget and benefits. And purchase services is very similar to the prior 2 years. Supplies, I believe, will come in under budget there. We're at 73.8%. Last year we were at 81% of where we ended up. And we are over budget on equipment. That was primarily due to the lease, the technology lease, being under budgeted by about that amount that we're over budgeted. So overall, we're at 66% of our budget expended. Prior 2 years, we were, slightly over 64% of final. So, any Any questions on the expenditures?
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Administrative, information and reports. Paul? Eric?
I just want to thank coaches, parents, athletes for as we navigate through spring reschedules and all that. It can be a tricky time, so just thank you to everybody involved in that, dealing with transportation issues, umpire shortages, and then obviously the things that Mother Nature throws at us as well, for making that process as smooth as it can be.
Thank you. Adam?
Just want to update the board and thank a few people. We have Renee James and Rachel Zierden, who will be returning next year as early learning core tutors in our preschool rooms. They both have accepted and will be coming back. Jill Shima will be coming back as one of our reading core tutors next year. And we have a new reading core tutor next year as well, Andrea Beeler, who will be joining us. We have been given 2 reading early learning core tutor positions for slots and 2 reading core. That's down from what we've had in the past due to uncertainty at the federal government. They're uncertain of their funding, so they have reduced everybody's positions. But we have filled out the slots that we have. And I want to just say a big thank you and kind of a farewell to Ardeen Winters and Amanda Medicine. They have been reading core tutors at the elementary for 4 years. Ardeen joined us as a reading core tutor almost immediately after she retired from teaching, and Amanda is a parent. 4 years is the maximum amount of allowed time that AmeriCorps allows a person to be a tutor. So they have stayed with us for as long as they can, which is great. And so we want to thank them for returning. And they have helped and worked with hundreds of our kids over those years. So they've really done a lot of good and a lot of benefit for the elementary school and its students.
Eric?
I'd like to thank our teachers as they finish up the READ Act. A week from Wednesday is our last early dismissal date, so I work on the READ Act. It's been a tremendous undertaking, and staff has done an excellent job. The intermediate school is a little unique because we have about half our teachers doing it and half of them not, and the ones that aren't doing it, thank their flexibility in working with the modified schedule. I'd also like to recognize Jody Gatewood, who's our Dean of Students and also our District Assessment Coordinator. This MCA season at the intermediate school, throughout the state actually, and that's a huge undertaking, doing all that scheduling, moving things around. It's a lot of moving pieces, and not only is she doing that, she's still doing her Dean of Students job and doing it really, really well. So she needs to be commended for the work that she's doing for us.
Thank you. Joe?
I'd like to thank ADX. You saw when you approved the donations from Lynn's Tennis and Pickleball Shop. So one of the owners of ADX just happened to ask Jen Peepgrass something about her pickleball unit, and Jen goes, oh, it'd be really nice because we're using cheap plastic rackets that we got a long time ago. And about a week later, she showed up with a box of 40 rackets from a company she works with and said, here you go. Retail price is probably about $100 a racket. So
Yes, that was a huge donation.
just walked in and out of the room, So again, local partnerships and, when people find out we have needs, they step up. So, thanks for that.
I should have talked to the principals because my notes are really just reflecting what they had to say. And I want to echo what Mr. Bierman said about the READ Act. And one of the goals this year was to complete the training, and 100% of our staff completed. And I can speak, at least from my own experience of receiving my certificate, it really was a joy because it was a lot of hard work, but a lot of learning that took place as well. So 75 of our teachers, and remember we looped our phase 1 and phase 2 teachers together. And as Mr. Bierman said, there was a lot of flexibility with staff because it took really everyone helping to make sure that we had coverage in classes, to be able to allow the work to be done, and especially to Christy Braun, and I know Christy will come back and speak to the board just to give an update, but it's been her coaching and her guidance when staff got into the valleys of how they were feeling about the READ Act. She was there to pick them up, and as well as provide staff development opportunities for our staff that were not involved in the READ Act as well, to provide information so everyone was learning and that we had a common language together. And as Mr. Foss had mentioned, this month it was unbelievable with the donations and the kindness that the community has shown. And I can speak to the pickleball. I was walking in the hallway and I ran into Mrs. Peepgrass, and talk about making someone's day. It really truly made a difference for her, for her students. And I know all the donations this month make a difference, whether it was pickleball, a scoreboard, books that are going into our ECFC library. It all makes a difference. So thank you to all those people that donated.
Okay, meeting events and notices. 5/19, May 19th is going to be our next regular school board meeting at 5:30. If you want to check the school calendar, this is the time of the year for a lot of our concerts and stuff, and they're most enjoyable. I'm going to ask for committee reports now. Wait, missed one. Open forum for citizens to address the school board. Okay, we'll move forward. Committee reports.
We just, for the best that I know, we had two committees that met, Benton Stearns, and they are just busy looking for property to lease. We have a meeting coming up again on Wednesday. And then we also had a policy committee meeting to review the policies that we before you this evening.
Okay, opportunity for board member comment. Pam?
We have about 20 archers going to the national tournament in St. Utah. So if you see any of those kiddos around, give them a high five because they worked hard for that.
Wayne?
I have nothing today.
Nathan? Stephanie? Well, it's that time of the year. Our facilities and fields are humming with activity. We celebrated the world of Dr. Seuss with a second grade concert. Thank you, music department, for making it happen. That same evening, our facilities hosted a speech concert and a track and field event in the field house. The Prism concert allowed our students to highlight their special talent. It's a little different venue that celebrates the uniqueness of our students. Thanks to Janelle Hesch and all who made it happen. The play offered many students the opportunity to showcase their talents and show our wonderful rural community how entertaining working together and bringing about positive results and laughter. Our first graders were our musical friends in concert. The audience loves to hear their clear, strong voices and celebrate our strong music program, a gift to us all. I want to invite you to the CARE Pork Chop Dinner, May 15th at Jack and Jim's, silent auction, bake sale, and plant sale. The need to support our elderly and keep them in their homes is growing. So it would be wonderful if you could be part of the solution. Stay tuned, there's a lot more to come in the next month, and I want to thank the board and everyone here for their hard work tonight. I think we moved ahead. And let's see, it's time for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion for it.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Nathan, second by Wayne.
6:26.
We're adjourned at 6:20 PM.
26.
6:26, thank you. Good to go.
We all approve.
We all approve.